Alright, so Maxon and Cinema4D just released a super helpful tool called the Flakes shader in Redshift, and if you've seen any of my work, I make a lot of dice, and in the past I was doing glitter dice using some weird crazy node trees, but now we can do it with just one node. So with a standard material, we're going to hit C and we'll type flakes, and we can add this out normal to our bump map, and it's going to give us a new result. Problem is we need to scale it down to the size of dice for my scene. You'll have to change the basic properties of your Flakes shader depending on your scene. So I'm going to just use this for now. And what's really cool about this is with the standard material right here, we can set the mellowness to like 1. And we can set the density to be lower. And we're going to get a really cool looking effect. All with just 3 nodes in our material. Now, to do what I did in the example earlier, we're going to have to do some stacking, and I want to show you just that. So we're going to hit C on our keyboard, and we'll type blend, and we're going to take this material blender and add this to the mid-right, and we're going to take this standard material right here and plug this into layer 1. Now we need to add a new material to this overall node tree, so we'll hit C, and we'll type standard. We'll add a new standard material. We'll rename this base just to stay organized, and we'll take this one and call it glitter. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to solo this glitter effect right here, and we're going to get the same thing. But what I want to show you is these other node outputs for the Flake shader will do interesting things for our material. So we're going to take the out alpha and plug this into the base color. And it's going to give us a black and white image wherever the glitter is showing. So that's going to be useful when we start blending this. The out flakes blend will also give you a different result. And same thing with the flake ID. It will actually give you a black and white value based on each individual flake. So, super cool, and allows you to make some really complex nodes if you need to do something super crazy. But we're going to keep it pretty simple here. So we have this base color here, and I'm going to change the base color under all the glitter to like this red or blue or something. And if we deselect that, now we're getting some glitter on top of the blue base material dice. And then what's really cool is that we can adjust the color of our glitter, and it will adjust the mellowness material here on top, and that should give us some red glitter. Now, obviously the camera composition is a little further away, so it's kind of hard to see. So we can just go in and art direct the scale of the flakes, and now we obviously have much bigger flake IDs. But if we set this to like 0.025, now we're getting that red glitter all over the place. But what if we want to have glitter for every single different type of flake on our object? What we can do is we can hit C on our keyboard, and we can type ramp. And we can go in, and in the out flakes ID, plug the ramp general input, alt input into the base color. And then from here, we can go into the ramp, go into load preset, set this to like rainbow. And now we're getting that really colorful looking dice like I had in the example below. So the last thing I want to show you is the base color being transparent, so then you can get some 3D looking dice effects. So if we go into the base color and then we set the transmission to like 1, it's going to set our object to be transparent. And I'll bring the roughness down to like 0.089. Doesn't need to be anything fancy, and I'll change the color to like nice blue, like so. Close that, let it update, and definitely transparent, but it's really dark, so it's kind of hard to see through, but you can see in the shading there just a little bit, it is a nice transparent dice. And I'm actually using this little dice right here. Not sure if you can see that as an example for what I'm trying to achieve, but it's transparent plastic, so you can see through it. With this, what's really cool is if you go into the flake shader and you go to the depth of the 3D flakes and you set this to like 5, doesn't really matter what the number is. It really depends on what you're trying to do for your scene, so you'll have to change these numbers respectively to what you're trying to do. I'll just crank up the step size, and let's say we bring down the density to like that. And we will also go into the base and actually set this to a little bit brighter of a color. And it looks really subtle, but you can kind of see some 3D flake dice in there. This effect would become more apparent if you were to animate this, and you can see this on the Maxon Redshift documentation, but this is how you use the flake shader. I could get way more in depth in this. I could go into the full example of what I showed you earlier, but this is basically the same principle. All you do is you go in, adjust your subsurface to like 1, change the color. Lots of things you can do to make a really cool looking flake shader, and I don't want to dwell more on this because there's lots of things that we would need to go into, but I hope this gets you started. I will leave it there because this should just give you a good foundation of how to use the flake shader. If you have questions, comments, concerns, hit me up in the comment section down below or find me on Instagram at JohnJagsNE, and I will leave you with the final tip: eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and you make some gains. Goodbye, my friends. Bye.